MagicOS 7.1 landed for the Honor 70 and I want to take a look at it and show you what's new. So let's get started. So here we have the Honor 70, as you can see, and let's check out the settings first, and we go into system updates and we check for the current version. This is the current version 7.1.0.270. And if you take a look at the changes that we have here, besides the major changes in terms of Android version and security updates, we get a game manager now, Honor Health by default installed. And in terms of privacy and security, we have password vault and accessibility. We have font adjustments that allow us to make the font bold if you want to. And the gallery has now finally restored to the slideshow option. But this is not everything. There are tons and more options here inside. JoJo suggestions, much better. You can have them running in a big screen as well, so it will predict which applications you run the most and will show them here. There's another cool feature indeed. If you are on a web page, just like I'm here, for example, a free finger swipe allows me to save this in the new Notes application. I have to go into settings, however, and say Notes application draw over other applications is allowed. And now let's redo it. And this will save this web page as a note in the Notes application. So when we go in here, click on the Notes application, you can see that we have a new Notes application. It allows us to convert older notes from the Notepad application over. Let's convert them. As you can see, only one thing appeared, and here we see our MagicOS 7.1 option, which is basically the website that we saved here, and it took not only a screenshot of the website, but I can edit this. So it just simply copied the text that was on the website together with the graphics and so on. The video sadly not, because the video running as well, but this allows you to read stuff later offline. You can edit stuff if you want to, so this is possible with this option to swipe down on websites. It doesn't work on all applications. For example, Reddit application, if I want to save it, you can see it gives me an option, free finger global favorites, not supported on this page. To change the free finger swipe down gesture for taking screenshots, go to settings. So I have also a nice option, just like on other phones like Oppo phones, Vivo phones, that allow to take a screenshot with free finger swipe. I can set this up in settings, which is I think pretty nice. And by default, I have the knuckle gestures that we know from Huawei, which is I think also very interesting right now. So these are some of the changes. There are more changes regarding MagicOS 7.1, and the fluidity is one thing as well. Interconnection with free finger swipes as well. If you have, for example, a foldable like the Magic VS, I mean, and on a book, you can also do this. We have this possibility of one set keyboard and mouse that you can use on various different devices, which is pretty interesting. So this interconnectivity is very cool indeed. Intelligent app finder there as well. I think also that this swipe down gesture to search for an app is much more improved, much more enhanced, and much quicker as well. So if I search for, I have to agree to stuff, of course. If I search for something like here, it's much quicker to open applications and search for stuff. And as you can see, it's like immediately there. So you don't have like a whole lot long loading time when it comes to this, which is I think pretty damn awesome as well. And we have the Magic Text option, which allows us in certain pictures, just like if we have text in certain pictures, like screenshots, like let's do a screenshot here. Let's make it a bit bigger. What we can do is like save this screenshot, but I already see the text option here at the bottom. I can tap on this. It identifies in the screenshots the text, and I can just copy the text over. This is very useful if you have applications not like the browser where you usually able to do this. But let's go to Reddit, for example, and on Reddit I can hold here. I cannot mark the text if I want to have the model number, for example, because I don't know which model this is. I just draw a circle here around, maybe specify it a bit more. let the text tool work, and then I have the possibility to say, okay, copy this text. There we go. And yeah, I can just simply copy the version number here and even edit it in the clipboard content, which is quite cool to do so as well. So this is a very, very cool feature indeed, the Magic Text feature. And we have other features just like OS Turbo X, smoother, more efficient effects, especially in games. You will notice this as well, longer battery life and so on, especially on the Honor 70 that is such a thin device and had a good battery life already. This new version brings out a little bit better battery life, and of course security, privacy, face unlock and so on secured now with a new option. The font design is very interesting. So we have Honor Sans now as a special font. We can go into settings and we can go just search for fonts here. I think it's probably easier. Display brightness, there you can see we have the fonts. We have different fonts that we can set up. Check. It will take a while for loading this probably, but we have the possibility to load all the different fonts here and check them out. There we go. So we have various different services that are preset themes, and we can change then the fonts accordingly to this here as well, as you can see here. So I think this needs to be a little bit worked on still, because I would like this to be more configurable still and not bound to themes in general. The display size and so on I can set up. This was there, I think, earlier as well. So yeah, these are the options there. Let's go and check some more options here. As you can see here, they redesigned certain things here with the fonts. Human motion from reality, so we have new unlock animations and so on. That of course highly depend on the device that you have. So it's working nicely, of course, on the there you can see the animations as well, nicely on the flagship device, the Magic 5 Pro. Maybe not all the animations are there on the Honor 70, but still it's a great kind of tool. Honor Health, very interesting if you have an Honor Watch. But even if you don't have an Honor Watch, it can track your steps, so act as a step counter if you have a smartphone always available. Very interesting as well, indeed, and a good improvement over what they had before, which is nothing, or they were just using the Huawei app for this. So yeah, very, very cool indeed. So yeah, these are some of the new features of MagicOS 7. What I really, really like is the new interface of the camera. As you can see here, we have those camera buttons, those new camera buttons now on the bottom here. Very easy. Also on the side here, so I can reach them with one hand without any issues. And you can see here, macro mode is turning on, AI mode I have enabled already. And also in video mode, when I'm recording something, we can see the buttons here instead of a slider. So if I zoom out and zoom in, it's directly jumping between. I can of course zoom in like this, which is pretty cool. And it also gives me like a little bit of feedback when I reached a certain amount here of zoom level. Like for example, the 6x zoom gives me a nice little feedback, but also 1 or 2x zoom. So which is pretty awesome indeed. We have a limit still, recording limit of 10 minutes here on the Honor 70 when we're recording 4K. However, this is still working nicely, as well as the possibility to track the different people via the solo cut mode that is still of course available here in the Honor 70 without any issues. Otherwise, what I noticed, I'm not sure if it was there before, is when I go into Pro mode, it now has the video mode here. So I have also the possibility to switch between all the lenses in the Pro mode. So if I want to set a specific ISO, for example, I want an ISO not going over 100, I can set up the ISO fixed here and then start recording, and then can also switch between the various different lenses. And you can see all of those lenses have now the same ISO set here, and only the shutter speed might change eventually. So very cool indeed that we have this option here now in the in this mode here. Nevertheless, other things here are also improved slightly. Don't see much of new modes here. Also, when I click on download new modes, you can see there's only stickers that are already there. So nothing much has changed in this regard. Also, aperture mode doesn't have an option for taking videos so this is not there yet. But video mode is a great thing, because despite photos and videos, I think this one here has improved a lot, together also with the photos. So we'll check out some video samples now, and afterwards some photos to see what has improved there in terms of camera. The front cam of the Honor 70 is still sadly kept at 1080p. It can go 1080p 30 or 1080p 60 frames per second. I don't see much of improvement here. Also not HDR, because the sensor size is so small, and yeah, they could not improve so much in there. Also, I think the stabilization is not the best on the front-facing camera. What do you think about this one here? Still a bit of a bummer, and one of the weaker camera modules here on the Honor 70. So this is the camera of the Honor 70, and the main camera lens that I'm using here right now, IMX800. They really upgraded the camera software. We now, instead of a zoom slider, have zoom buttons that smoothly zoom in and out of the shot, which is pretty nice indeed, and a great upgrade for this mid-range kind of device. We have better HDR, better colors, better rendition, and new noise algorithms, I think, here in the software. Even though not telling it in the changelog, I definitely see an improvement in terms of pictures and videos. What do you think about this video here taken with the main cam 4K 30? And if I want to, I can also go to the ultra wide angle. This is one of the cool features. Just pressing one button and I'm in the ultra wide angle. I don't have like a slider to slide around, which is quite cool. So what do you think about the Honor 70 and the improvements in terms of camera? I definitely see here a big improvement and great upgrade from Honor. So what do you think about this one here? So the photos of the Honor 70, they improved a little bit in terms of colors especially. The sharpness is alright, I would say, but especially the colors here, the blacks, the contrast that you can see here, it's a bit of a punchy color for sure. It follows the kind of look that the Magic 5 Pro also has, in contrast to the Magic 4 series. And the sharpness is okay, I would say. It could be a bit sharper, a bit more detailed here and there, but I think this is a cool photo here. And the same goes for the ultra wide angle. The ultra wide angle is a bit soft towards the edges for sure, but they tremendously improved the HDR of the ultra wide angle. As you can see here, the sun, it's keeping it quite nicely. Sharpness is, I think, okay for this kind of ultra wide angle. Of course, it cannot compete with the flagship devices, but we have to talk about like a mid-range device, and in comparison to how it looked like before, also in the center, in terms of center sharpness, it is much more natural, not so over-processed looking. Here towards the sides, you can see, it's getting a bit soft. The same goes for the other side, so I don't want to hide this from you. So it's getting a bit soft there, but in the middle you have like the center sharpness for sure, and this is quite okay. You can get very artistic shots just like this one here, which is quite nice as well. We can play a little bit with the HDR shadows and so on, which is also quite nice. And the overall rendition is a bit warmer, the color tones there as well. This is a selfie. A selfie, I think, also improved in terms of HDR. So this one taken directly against the sun, and you can see usually my face would be completely black, but here it is recovering the sun almost completely. And I think with this like bit of light that we have here, I'm looking very, very good here. It's not too processed, not too over sharpened, I would say, my face. It's not too yellowish washed. There's definitely some warmth to it. We have nice bokeh, even though this is like artificial bokeh for sure a bit. And overall, I think it is a good selfie kind of for this kind of mid-range device. And of course also macro modes with its 50 megapixel macro cam are working very fine. So dandelion, as you can see here, with this little dandelion that like flew somewhere and then landed here on another dandelion. It's pretty interesting to see. And of course also 2x zoom. It's a crop into the main sensor. Looks pretty okay. It has good HDR. Sharpness is of course suffering, especially in this lower light situation there, and we don't see much of color noise going on or creeping in, so this is pretty good. When we go into lower light selfies, it is still okay, I would say. I can see some noise here in the background eventually, but I think it is not over processing so much here of my face, and still looking good there, I would say. And when it comes to low light photography, they improved also a little bit here, especially in this lower light indoor situation. We still have a bit of editing going on, as you can see here. Clearly they are doing something with the fonts here, with the text, and trying to make them clearer. You can see some white outline around the text that I usually would criticize for a flagship device, but I think for this kind of mid-range device it is still okay. And I'm absolutely astonished by this shot here because it was total darkness there. I couldn't see the tools in the toolbox, and I'm always surprised by, and especially mid-range devices, by flagships, of course, I expect them to make daylight out of nighttime, but from a mid-range device, I'm a bit surprised that I get so many details here that I can see. But if I zoom in, there you see the difference between a flagship device and a mid-range device. Here you can see, yes, it is quite soft and details are a bit lacking here and there. And this is something that distinguishes this shot from the Magic 5 Pro's shot, for example, with a way larger sensor and bigger aperture. You can see some denoising algorithms and noise still there. It tries to keep some of the details there, but it's smudging things out as well, because it just simply cannot do this here. But overall, I think it's a pretty good shot for a mid-range device. Overall, I'm happy about the photo results here, and I think they made a great improvement in certain areas like HDR, and I think also color science that looks a lot better. I'm a bit disappointed by the stabilization in video still, because I think on the main cam they could do better. I know it doesn't have OIS, but the EIS could work better also at 4K, or should work better also at 4K. Otherwise, I think it's a solid mid-range device, and especially now with Galaxy A54 coming out, the Google Pixel 7a, worth a look. And just take a look at the Honor 70 again. Maybe you find some interesting deal, because it's a very interesting phone. And if you like the UI, the MagicOS 7.1, then definitely something that I can recommend. So overall, I can recommend the Honor 70, especially now with all the good mid-range devices coming out. This, by the way, using the multi-video mode. You can see that I'm editing the video right now, or I'm preparing everything for the edit of the video. And this is now using with the Honor 70 without any external microphone, just using the internal mics. How does it sound like? I think it is still a very valid and cool device when you want to vlog. Just record simply very quickly a nice vlog, have nice colors, and everything that you need on your hand. Stabilization here and there might be something they should improve upon. Otherwise, if you're just recording 1080p, then stabilization is great. You don't need anything extra there. So yeah, it's working nicely there as well. What do you think about the Honor 70? That's everything for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and until the next time. Bye.